What's good, everybody? It's your boy Prince Sammy, and I'm back with another video. I know this video seems different from the other one, but this is the same topic on it. But I'm here interviewing my boy Mike. How you doing, man?
Good, I'm good, bro. Welcome to the house.
Welcome. This is a setup. Shout out to him. Shout out to him.
Yeah.
This is a setup. I came along to ask him a few questions about mental health and his life in general and what he does. Let's get into it.
My punishment is like I would fast. Dressed like this. You know, I'm dressed like what?
Gangster.
Yeah, right.
Gangster.
So they would tell me like, "Oh, you black as fuck," and I'm like, "What?"
What do you mean?
Yeah, like to me that was.
It was so scary for me because like
I'm always here praying. Why is stuff not working for me?
يلا تنجرش تنزاري يمينه like I never felt. All right, to begin, introduce yourself, bro.
My name is Mikey, Mickey. People call me Michael, Mikael. So I go by a lot of names.
Yeah.
I go by Mikey.
I miss you, man. But what do you do for a living?
I do a lot of things. I have a day job, 9 to 5. I got multiple tech jobs that I'm working, and I run a podcast, multiple podcasts, and I do music as well.
I remember you guys asking me a lot about like engineering or going into tech and stuff, and Johnny's vlog. The main guy is right here. If you guys want to ask him, go to his channel, the Guns Up Podcast, the Guns Up Club, and also you have another one, right?
Yeah, Kalbakal is
Amarinya
channel.
Yeah, his Amarinya channel. Yeah. Y'all can go up, subscribe, like everything. You know, another video coming up on this channel too.
Yes, sir.
But a lot of people was asking me about what made you get into tech and everything. And me personally, I answered what I answered, and they know. So, what made you get into it?
I mean, it was. I didn't even study computer science, to be honest with you. I was aerospace. I was studying aerospace in the beginning. I was I was into aerospace a lot as a kid growing up, but somehow, I lost interest in it. Third year, I completely switched major and got into theater. I studied theater.
That's very nice.
With communication. So I wanted to work on my speech and, my public speaking. Like I was shy as a little kid, so I wanted to work on that. So I wanted to go to school for something I want to develop as a person. So graduated out, and then it kind of like fell into my lap type of thing where the homies was working the job. So I'm going to just say it. Fuck it.
Nah, go ahead.
So I kind of heard about it. So there was a person I interacted, and then he kind of plugged me in the job.
Nice.
And I fell into it like that. And then within that, that's how it happened.
Nah, yeah. A lot of times, a lot of tech stuff happens with like a lot of networking and stuff.
Yeah.
Like if you know a guy that knows a guy that knows another guy about tech, like you're not set, but at least you got the way, or he can guide you through,
Yeah.
And I was just was it called. So now you do 9 to 5, and on top of that, you do the social media creating and all that.
Yeah.
How do you balance both of them?
I'm working from home, so most of the time, when you go to the office, right, you have to. Besides the 8 hours, there's another extra 1.5 hours on each side, going there and coming back.
Yeah.
So it's basically working 10 hours.
For sure.
So coming back, you're gonna be tired. You don't even want to work out, or you didn't even want to shoot. But me working from home, my desk right there. What I do is I basically work, and then I manage time. What I do is like from this time to this time work, from this time to this time shoot. So I
time management.
Yeah. So I
That's
set up a schedule to make certain things, and I haven't slept a good 8 hours in like 3-4 years.
Like
I'm on like a 3-hour clock every night.
That's what you call that hardworking, man.
Yeah.
Like can you talk more about like time management? Like how did you like discipline yourself to time manage and stuff?
The more busy, when I was with time, right? Time is a funny thing. Time goes by. Like we're already in May right now.
That's crazy.
It was just January.
Literally,
right?
Yeah.
I just decided to. I don't know how, but no, actually I know how. My bad. I I met this guy that I was working with. One of my boys was still my good friend. I noticed him write certain like a daily goal every day, and then he would check them. Right, it would be like go to work, go to the gym, do some laundry, and he would just check them off. And I'm like, yo, why you always writing? Back then I was just wing it, meaning like
That's like throughout the day, right?
throughout the day.
Okay.
And I'm like, I used to be like, yeah, I'm gonna do this in my head, and I would calculate it in my head, and I would still do them, but sometimes I would forget it, and it would be forgotten.
It wouldn't be efficient.
So what he told me was like, yo, get a notebook and then do it for a week, do it daily, do it weekly, do it monthly, do a quarterly, which is 3 times every 3 months, and do a yearly, right? And then the minute I started doing that, that was around 2019. I would hold myself accountable. So if I write something for the day, say if I say go to work, hit the gym, do laundry, shoot a video, shoot a podcast. If I don't check those off by the end of the night, I'm holding myself accountable, and I punish myself. Whether my punishment is like I would fast, or I would not eat until 12, or I would like, I don't know, I would like punish myself from $20 from spending or something like that.
Oh, that's very crazy.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't see a lot of people doing that, and even myself, like I try to do those kind of stuff, or when it comes to punishment, I wouldn't hold myself accountable and everything and stuff. And that's
yeah, we punish
like,
people, right? So when you make a mistake, you have to punish yourself sometimes. Like, say for example, I would want something like, say I would want a shirt I want to buy, and I'm like, nah, you don't, but you don't deserve it. Like to
Facts.
myself, you know what I mean?
Like, do you do the same thing when you achieve too?
Oh, absolutely. I go crazy.
These for yourself.
Yeah. I just bought these Prada shades. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I was seeing it on your Instagram with the $400 shirts.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I just bought these just as a reward for myself. So I did something, I was supposed to do, and I was like, cool.
Like hard work pays off means doesn't mean only like in life of success, but it means on your own goals.
Bad work, punish yourself the same way you reward yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Going more depth into your personal life, like what is one thing that a lot of people misunderstand about you?
I hate that. I'm a very confident person, right?
Okay.
People confuse that as like a cocky, arrogant. People call me like cocky, arrogant, nigga. You ain't got it like that. Like people come up with a lot of shit, but back then it used to bother me. But now I'm like, yeah, I ain't shit anyways.
What do you think you say you did to overcome that? Like you said, like bad times, like you kind of get bothered, but now.
Yeah, back in the day it used to bother me because I've always wanted to prove people that I'm not that. But you will come to a realization as you get older. I think maturity. I believe it's maturity where I said, you know what? Who are these people to judge me?
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Who are they to, like, if you were bothered by a certain individual, by him telling you positive shit, which I do positive stuff on my channel, if you're bothered by that, it means something's wrong with you internally.
Literally.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if people come up and people joke on you and when they joke on you, there's a little hate in it.
Oh, of course.
You know what I'm
Everyone,
saying?
yeah.
So I peep game as to why, like, when certain people say certain jokes and they kind of like, you can sense the hate. And then I was like, yo, like, this is the type of, I look at it and I'm like, yo, why am I proving a point to a bum? No disrespect, like, you know what I'm saying?
Literally, like,
yeah, fuck these bum. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
Don't mean to cuss, but
no, you're good.
yeah, like, forget these bum ass niggas. Like,
Yeah,
I'm not gonna waste my breath. You know what I'm saying? So, so you detach yourself. You look at yourself as like, I'm no better than no man. You know what I'm saying? I sneeze, I fart the same way as any other person. But mentally, we're not on the same level. So when I say I'm better
speak on
than
that.
You, when I say I'm better than you, I'm not saying as human beings we're on the same level.
Everybody.
But I look at it like mentally you're not on the same level as me. So
that's one thing a lot of people I feel like mistaken it, like you said earlier, like being confident to cockiness, like I mentioned earlier too, like confidence doesn't mean that you're cocky. It's just more of that, like, your shit, and as long as you know your shit, let alone confidence, even if you're cocky, I'll give it to you all because you know your shit at the end of the day.
Absolutely, bro.
But a lot of people mistaken that confidence to cockiness, and they be like, oh, you're arrogant, you're this, you're that, and it's like we get that a lot in the Habesha community too, where
That's
like
the problem with our community,
yeah,
because we're passive aggressive. We're
literally
supposed to walk with our head down, but sometimes, like if I come and I'm dressed like this, I'm dressed like whatever.
gangster,
Yeah, right.
gangster.
So they will be like, "Who does he think he is?
Yeah,
Why is his chin up? Why is he walking like that?
literally like
Why does he have like
why is he
to
looking
show
at
off?"
me like
Yeah,
when
but
he
it's
talks and stuff? And I'm like, bro, like for example, like in America, one thing I learned forcefully is like you have to look them in the eyes when you talk.
yeah,
Back home, you do that, you get your ass whipped.
yeah.
You know,
They be like,
and it's like I want you to speak more on like motivation on the people where like that are shy.
yeah, I was one of those kids, bro. Like growing up when I was a kid, I remember growing up like when there was weddings, even right. I was used to be scared to clap like to music. I was that shy of a person.
Damn.
But yeah, like, but as you like get comfortable, as you grow, like you start like I started taking acting classes, and I became an acting like major, right?
Mm.
And then I developed like I broke out of my shell when it comes to that. But hanging out with friends, right? When I hung out with friends, when I hang out with my Habesha friends, it was mostly, it's you're comfortable. They're your own people. But if you notice, most Habesha people here don't branch out and get American friends because
That's what I'm saying.
dialect, or even I invite people on my podcast that are like well off, but they're scared to come and speak, and I'm like, what you scared for?
No, that's what I'm talking about.
Speak, and I'm like, that's the kind of shyness I'm talking about. We have to break that. If I can do it, right? If I can do it, a little kid that couldn't clap to wedding music or like a little gathering of party where
Literally.
yeah, that if I broke out of that, you can too.
No, like that's facts. And also going back to what you were saying is like a lot of us Habesha teenagers, I could say, we have like friends from both world where Habesha friends and also like American friends. How did you deal with that, like when you were in high school, or it can be like even growing up now?
Deal with it in one second.
Like in one sense where like the culture transition between those two going back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, when I came here, I was young. I was a little young, I was in middle school when I came here. So when I came here, first thing I got into, like the only time I see Habesha people was at church. And then I'm coming to school, and I was the African kid. And then, you know what I'm saying? So I had to deal with I had to deal with kids clowning each other. I had to develop that habit of like, the more I hung out with folks, they used to be like, oh, the African kid is here. This is before Africa was like, now the African kids are popular.
Literally, yeah.
Yeah, so
I remember that too. Yeah, me personally to like, oh, that monkey kid, or like, all that like
it's part
African
of the
joke and stuff.
It's part of the game. Kids don't
Literally,
get it.
like,
It's just like, I didn't understand. I didn't know I was black until I came here.
That's what I'm talking about. There's no I'm Habesha. I'm out here is I'm black.
Yeah,
literally,
so
like
when my Mexican friends tell me like, "Oh, you black as fuck," and I'm like, "What?
what do you mean?"
Yeah, like to me that was like that, right? But I had to get into that and just like fight my way. When I say fight my way, I even fought. I even start like learning jokes, American jokes. I knew English. I went to a private school in Ethiopia, but when I came here, my dialect got better because I hung out with kids from the culture, American people.
Literally, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
and yeah, a lot of Habesha parents don't want their kid to hang with a lot of Habesha, a lot of what's called American kids, due to like the fact that they're like Habesha parents are number one like negative thinkers. I could say in the world.
Absolutely.
Where like, if you have a black friend, that means you're gonna be smoking with them. If you have a Latino friend, that means you're literally like, you're literally like doing drugs or doing something. Like with every friend is like there's something going on and stuff. And it always was like a kind of trouble for me personally, because it's like there's the bully at school, and then from coming from that, what's it called, perspective, coming home, like you have to put up a whole smile because your mom, you don't want your mom to see you like that and all of that. Like, what do you say about that? Like, how did you deal with that?
I mean, for me, it was like, it was a challenge for me, right? When I first came here, I got into school, I was just trying to fit in. Like, for me, I was trying to fit in because I was like an isolated kid. I was trying to fit in. They were like, people clown me. They're all my friends now. We love each other.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? But we used to clown. I clown them back. But that challenge made me eager to be like, I'm gonna become them, and I'm a roast them.
Literally, like
You know what I'm
a
saying? It
lot of
became a
us,
challenge.
yeah, a
So,
lot of us, we don't do that. Like often with the Habesha, quote unquote, having that like
Yeah.
mentality of like being in a way of like a bottom of everybody, whereas like you get picked on, you'll just be like, shit, good more like
Yeah.
alpha type stuff.
Yeah, don't ever be
And
passive aggressive. Like,
yeah,
that's the
because
worst
of
thing.
that, is like a lot of Habesha kids are in disadvantage with their when they come from what's it called back home. Like I see my cousins that was born and raised here, where like they're literally like the same as the other black people and all like the American kids, where like I was even getting bullied by my own cousins. That's I learned it the hard way, you know, you feel me?
Yeah.
And it was just like crazy stuff and going, yeah. But that's thank you for that.
Yeah,
And
no problem.
going forward is like, what's your biggest failure and what did you learn from the experience?
Failure. My biggest failure, I'll tell you this. I wasn't a failure. It was not a failure, but I'll tell you, my to the point where I was pursuing. I was an independent artist, right? And I was funding myself without working.
Well, okay.
So I got hit in the pockets hard for like a couple years.
Where is it like a music industry?
Music,
right?
yeah,
Okay,
I make music, right? So
nice.
when I was making music or whatever, one of the songs made it to like a movie, and I got paid or whatever, all independent. But the time it took, right? The time it took, I told myself, I was like, yo, I'm gonna sleep on my mama's couch and we'll make it work. But at that point, I was so broke to the point where, you know, when you're fucked up broke to the point where you don't have a cell phone type of broke, your head is not. You're always gonna think of like, oh, I gotta find ways to make money. But on top of that, I graduated school, so I'm always gonna be like, I can't be doing that job. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
Literally.
ridiculous. So that challenge for me was like, I wouldn't say it's a failure, but more so like a
wake-up
lesson.
call.
But I'm glad I did it, because the minute I said, you know what, I could walk and chew gum, like that Jay-Z
Literally.
analogy, right?
Yeah.
I could work and pursue whatever I want to pursue. Now coming back full circle to this, doing 2 podcasts, having 2 multiple jobs. I'm taking a little course. I'm doing music.
Literally.
5-7 things in a day, every day, and I'm busy. I'm like, yo, I could have done that back then. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Yeah, so that's a lesson, not a failure. By the way.
Literally, like that's a big lesson.
Yeah.
And hey, if anybody haven't told you this, I'm proud of you, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Literally,
Thank
a
you.
lot. You don't see a lot of people doing that. Mostly, not even a lot of people, but in the Habesha community, you don't see a lot of teenagers doing that.
Yeah.
If I'm not gonna lie, if I was the position you was at and I were literally asked with those questions or like in front of those questions, I feel like I'll just be like the other kids in America where I turn myself into this imaginary thing by like being a pothead, all that, this, that. But
Nah,
you
man.
coming through that is like
Nah,
very big
we
thing.
don't touch none of that shit. Like I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like one thing I'll tell you, one thing I don't want to do is I don't want to, I think I said that to when I was in a pocket, I don't know, did some interview, but I don't like disappointing my parents. So, one thing I'll never do is like be on some like loser. If you smoke and you get offended, good for you. I'm about to say it. And I'm not gonna be a pothead smoking. Just, you know, I know people that smoke and function. Good for you, but
yeah, you were mentioning that on Jappy too. Yeah,
exactly. But good for you. But for me, I don't want to disappoint my parents. I never disappointed my parents. I was always been that good kid on their best side. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be that. So I never came across that. Yeah, I have vices here. I'm not gonna lie to you. I have a couple of vices which are considered normal. You know, which are socially acceptable. I do those in moderation, but I'm not gonna sit here on some loser shit like, yeah, let me. You hurting your pockets and your
literally.
brain and your memory and your digestive system. So,
but yeah, at the end of the day, like nonetheless, just as long as you know what you're doing, just keep doing it.
Yeah.
What's it called? Your dad. Okay.
My dad is a hustler.
And we never appreciated them for anything, like for them just doing the simple coffee. What do you think mental health means for you? Like, what's your mental health like from back then and now? Like,
I connected to God on a deeper level.